I love women. I've always loved women, ever from an early age. I've always found girls and women to be much more interesting and alluring and intelligent and beautiful than men. Now, I believe that nature created woman as the perfect foil for man. Nature created woman and filled her with compassion and tolerance and a loving nature, as opposed to man's sometimes evilness and brashness. I also believe that woman is the most important part of nature's cause, which is reproduction of the species. And because of that, nature has made woman such an attractive being to a man. And to that end, I truly believe that nature has lavished all its beauty on women. Now, the physical attraction between a man and a woman is fairly obvious, but what other attributes does a woman need to have in order to attract a man? Well, if you go back to man's basic instincts, one of man's most basic instincts, which he still has today because it's embedded in his DNA, is to protect women. So, because of man's need to fulfill this basic instinct and protect women, innocence and vulnerability in a woman are very attractive attributes to a man. Now, I know that all through time, evil men, nasty men, horrible men have taken advantage of women's innocence and have taken advantage of women's vulnerability, and in doing so have caused terrible harm to women, terrible oppression. And it's the greatest stain on mankind, his treatment of women throughout the ages. And what can one man like me do? Only apologise for mankind for the way man has treated woman throughout the ages. Because I believe that a woman isn't somebody to be controlled. I believe a woman is a person who's there to be loved, there to be appreciated, there to be respected, and there to be taken care of. So, although man's basic instincts have more or less remained intact throughout the ages, women in the last 100 years have changed a lot in regarding their way of thinking and their instincts. So, they have fought and gained independence, they fought and gained equality, which has afforded them opportunities which have allowed them to show their intelligence in many ways, a greater intelligence than man has. Now, they were afforded these opportunities and they gained this independence and equality, and rightly so. But I just hope that they haven't done so at the expense of losing some of their other attributes, one of which being the actual ability to be attractive to man. Because, again, throughout the ages, man has always been the most promiscuous of the sexes and also the least trustworthy, without a doubt, of the sexes. But more and more in the last couple of decades, it's becoming very obvious that the pendulum is swinging and that it is now the female, the woman, who has become more promiscuous and has become less trustworthy. Now, although I do believe that's the case, man can have no complaints about this at all. Simply, women have taken over in that respect, and man can have no complaints because for centuries and centuries, this is the way he has been. So he just has to let women have their turn, really. It's a shame though, because this kind of behaviour is not befitting my view of how women are and how women should be. Because to me, there's no greater sight in the world than to walk the streets and to be met with visions of beauty all around me. Visions of beautiful women, naturally beautiful women, not the kind of beauty that's fabricated and shown on the pages of glossy magazines and on your TV screens. I'm talking down to earth, natural beauty. There's no better sight for me as a man to see visions of that kind of beauty all around. But more and more as the years go by, my eyes are actually being met, they're being burnt with visions of loud, brash, outlandish women. Women with straggly, ridiculously coloured hairs and horrible tattoos on showing on overexposed bodies and piercings that resemble pin cushions on their faces, etc. And it's as if these women are doing this to themselves. One, to dumb down their appearance because they no longer need to attract a man, or for two, to define themselves. This is me. I can do what I want. I'm a free woman. I'm independent. Look what I can do. Nobody can tell me what to do. And it's a shame, really. But I know that a lot of people will say, oh, well, it's okay for men to have tattoos. Well, I feel the same about tattoos on a man. But basically, I believe women to be better than men. So be better than men. Okay? Be more demure. Be more dignified. Don't be like man. Just because you've attained equality with man doesn't mean you have to be like man. Be yourselves. Be the beautiful creatures that nature intended you to be. And remember that understated beauty is far more attractive to a man than cosmetic beauty. Just as being demure and dignified is a lot more attractive to a man than a woman who is loud and brash and outlandish. Now, growing up a few decades ago among six sisters and lots of girls, girls then used to dress up, and they weren't coy about it. They used to dress up for a night out in the hope of pleasing a man or attracting a man. Nowadays, when a lady or a girl's dressing up for a night out and you ask her, oh, who's the lucky man you're dressing up for? After she's bitten your head off, she'll start saying things like, oh, this is me, this is who I am, everybody has to take me as I am. I don't have to get dressed up specially for a man, I don't have to please a man, I don't have to make an effort. And sadly, her friends are stood beside her saying the same things. Girls saying to each other, oh, you're too good for him, you're too attractive for him, regardless of the attractive nature of the woman they're speaking of. So the thing is, it's not a crime for a woman to look good for a man. It's not a crime for a woman to make the effort to look good for a man. It's not a sign of weakness to dress to try and attract a man. It's actually nature's way for a woman to attract a man. And if this dumbing down of your appearances and this attitude towards attraction between men and women continue, I'm going to have no option, but I'm going to start buying up shares in Ann Summers. But these things don't really relate to me because I'm very happy. I've been very lucky throughout my adult life with women. I've spent all of my adult life with three fantastic, beautiful, dignified, caring, loving women. So, although that's the case for me, I still want women everywhere, all over the world, to be beautiful. I want women to be themselves. I want them to be feminine. I want them to remain attractive to man, because man needs it. Man needs woman to be attractive to him, and nature needs it. Nature needs attraction between the sexes in order for reproduction to continue. But most of all, the reason I want women out there to look beautiful, I want to see visions of beauty everywhere, because when I do, it makes the world a better place. Till next time, feel free to share, subscribe, and take care of yourselves. Bye for now.